respected chair, Dr. S.S. Savrika, vice chair, and my teacher, Dr. M.P. Ishwara Sharma sir, Professor K.S. Dhiman sir, Dr. Anupam Srivastav sir, Dr. L. Mahadevan sir, Dr. Manohar Ram Manohar sir, Dr. J.N. Damodaran, and Mr. Arun. I was not very sure to make this presentation because even now I am in the CISA office for organizing this seminar. And for seeing the array of stars, I thought I should not miss this because the cream of Ayurveda is here presenting, giving lectures, and I should also give my opinion. That's why I'm here. This subject, and in fact, M.P. Sharma sir only taught me Rasayana during my graduation. So my topic here is management of post-surgical infection and Ayurvedic approach. Can we manage post-surgical infection? That is a question. And first thing that comes in a little bit of surprise. Do we really have? And then question marks around our head. Is it there? And then somebody will be stunned, astonished, and then skepticism. And then comes, what? Am I talking rot? And finally, it might be an out of box thinking, and most probably no one will believe this. And this is a emoji of the doctor who is, or my emoji, where I don't know what is my emotion is. So, is there a concept at all on preventing this post surgical infection? And I'm not, I'm basically, though a surgeon, I usually do only conservative orthopedics. I don't do any surgery. So, what does a post surgical infection mean? Any infection that occurs within 30 days of operation and may be related to the operation itself or the post operative course. This is how it is defined in Bailey and Love. So, every operation in surgery is an experiment in bacteriology. Egyptians were able to prevent putrefaction, testified by mummification skills. Their medical leaves or papyrus also describe the use of antiseptics. Hippocrates says his teaching described about the use of antimicrobials such as wine, vinegar, which are widely used to irrigate open infected wound before delayed primary or secondary wound closure. Louis Pasteur recognized through his germ theory that microorganisms were responsible for infection. And as you know, Joseph Lister applied this knowledge to the reduction of colony of organism in compound fractures by using antiseptics. And principles of antiseptics were soon enhanced, and it is coming in huge extent. Alexander Fleming, though found this as a serendipity, the discovery of antibiotic penicillin is attributed in 1928, and now it is very widely used. So this is the history. Globally, 0.5 percentage to 15 percentage have infection, but in India it is almost 23 to 38 percentage. This is because of influenced by many major factors like pre-operative care, theater environment, post-operative care, and the type of surgery. Many factors influence surgical wound healing and determine the potential for incidence of infection. Therefore, the prevention of this infection is a complex and requires integration of a range of preventive measures before, during, and after surgery. However, the implementation of these measures is not standardized worldwide. There are definition we have already told. The causes are usually two: exogenous and endogenous. Exogenous, we all know, bacteria, etc. Endogenous, just like foreign bodies, our hair, our teeth, etc. There are many risk factors also, like diabetes, obesity, older age, emergency operation, and obvious contamination with debris, pus, stools, etc. are the main commonly risk which we come across. Coming to history of East versus West. In olden days, East were observing the wild animals, and when it become ill, what are they doing? And they start experimenting with juices, flowers, roots, etc. And their main theory was man was the epitome of universe, Purusha Evam Loga Samhita, and it developed a holistic approach. When coming to West, it was a Renaissance period, and they started seeing everything through the microscope, and the natural theory was totally forgotten, and they started germ theory. One antibiotic, one microbe. That was the theory. Now the whole world is changing towards an antibody world. That is what WHO is processing now. And coming to Ayurveda, Acharya Sushruta includes Daksha Karma in the heading of Shashti Upakrama to protect Atura from Nishachara or invisible creatures. Nishacharebhyo Rakshyastu Nityameva Kshadaduram Rakshavidhanir Uddishter Sannimastada. That is told in Sushruta Chikitsa first chapter. So, according to whatever it's according to Ayurveda or modern medicine, infection is infection. So, Ayurveda considers the infection as an imbalance of the body elements, and that is weakened by that weakens the immune system, and they are subjected to microbial infections. And according to modern medicine, they consider germ theory and antibiotic is the reason or the answer for it. A word of caution. Being an orthopedic person, in orthopedic text of Ayurveda, he says, Bhagnam neidi yathapagam, predeta tadabhishak, pakwa mamsa sirasnayu, tathi kritsrena siddhari. Almost take all care to prevent the fracture getting infected. And if there is an open wound, he says, Kalpe nirgadam shushkam, take off that bony prominent and treat like a Shuddha Vrana. That is what is told in Sushruta. See, this is a case that came in our hospital. Savranastu bhagnasya vranam sarpir madhutare pradisarya kashayastu shesham bhagnavat. You might be asking, in this condition, do you use sarpi, madhu, etc.? Definitely no. Now we have different types of irrigating methods where we can treat it in much better way. And of course, right now we are not attempting this. I just say that this is the textual reference which we get. And how to diagnose the infected wound according to Ayurveda. We have Panja Lakshanas, Varna, Gandha, Vranasrava, Vedana, and Akriti. And what is Varna? Before going to Dushtavrana, we should know what is Shuddhavrana. Everybody knows, all students will be knowing by heart. Tribir doshe Ganekranda, Shavoshta Pedagi Sama, Avedana, Nirasravo, Prano, Shuddha Hyochade. And what is the healing Varna? Kapoda Varna Pratimo, Yasyanda Kleda Varjita, Sira Chapidagavan, Ando Rohadi Tamadishil. And Rudavarna also everybody knows. What is Dushtavarma? Doshej adhishtido dushta, shuddhestad anadhishtita, samvridatvam, vivridatvam, kadinyam, mrududabhiva, atyulsanyam, avasanyam, atyaushram, adhishitata, etc., etc. These are the textual reference. And what are the 8 colors? Sarpistaila, Vasapuya, Jaktashava, Amlapu. When a patient come to you, seeing the color, seeing the order, we'll know whether this is an infected wound or non-infected wound. And with that, we'll be able to start treatment. And what are the Vrano Upadrava? It always says Jwara, Adhisara, Murcha, Hikka, Chardi, Arojagam, Shwasam, Kasam, etc. Once you have a mild fever or rise in temperature, always start think that it is infected. That is how we always say. Then what is the treatment? Trividam karma, Purva karma, Pradhana karma, and Paschat karma. So what is preoperative procedures include from Lankhana to Virejana. We always do. Here, even now, we always do like that. And operative or main procedures like 8 surgical procedures, Sandhanam, Pedanam, Shonda, Samnam, etc., etc. And what are the post-operative includes Aharam, Viharam, care of the wound, and Akshavidhanam. See, It is there Aushadam, Aharam, and Viharam, and bandages. There is a concept called Vrinidagara, just like an intensive care unit. There is a agara, there is a building which we build where we usually admit the patient with infected wound. See, Vranadasya Prathamevam Agaram Anviched. Such Agaram Prashastam Vastigam, because it should be properly done with a Vastu consultation. This imparts the necessity of isolation the patient to a place from a possible source of infection. Successful wound care involves optimizing the patient's local and systemic condition in conjunction with the ideal wound, healing environment, and this is the best attainable inside a Vrinidagara. And after that, we start Saptahiga Chilsa. Snehavanam, Parishegam, Swedam, Leva, Upanahanam. Sweda, Snehavasticha Kurvida, Vadakne Aushadesada. All Vadakna Aushada has been given, and with Snehavanam, Parishegam, Swedam, Levam, Upanaham, etc. Sapta, 7 days treatment. As Ramanohar was telling, after 7 days, it has become a what you call Agandu has gone to Nija state. Agandu Rannebi Nijam Vigara. That is what is told in our text. Then what do you do for Sadhyavarana? We start irrigating with cold items like Sinjet, Sadhyavarana Sinjet, Eshtiahi, Sarpisha, etc. And after the Tivra weather has come down, then we use Ishad Ushnayana Baladaila. Like that, gradually we start our treatment, and then we start certain medicines are being used for vidarana. Means when a shobha has become pakwa, we use certain medicine. That is also a antibiotic medicine, because once it breaks, the strength of the medicine is to prevent it from getting more pus, etc., and getting more infected. The most commonly used are Gulgulu, Adasi, Godanti, Sonakshiti, Kapodavit, etc. And Kshara Ushada had been used for Pakkashabhavidana. And we start using irrigating. Shalana with Surasadigana, Aragvadadigana, and Negrodadi Tokkashaya Kshalna, Alepana with Padola, Nimbapatra, Tila, Estimadu, Nishadvayam, Trivit, Dandi. These are the drugs which you use for Lepana and for Kshalana. And Dhupana. There are two types of Dhupana. One where we do it for Vranida Agara. Here we use Sarshaba, neem leaves, Gogrudha, and Saindhavalavana is used for Dhupana in Vranida Agara. And for Vrana, we use Gugulu, Agaru, Sarjarasa, Vaja, Gaura Sarshaba, Lavanam, Nimbapatra. So see how much our Acharya has been thought about the way you approach a patient, how to do disinfection in the place where he stays, and how to disinfect the wound. And sterilization. Agni taptena shastrena chindyat. Anyatha ataptatu shastra chedena pagabhayam syat. See how clearly Dalana has said. You have to sterilize the instrument using Agni. This is what Dalana says in Sushram Chikilsa 246. And then there are various researches that is going on. One of the researches doing by one of my students is an in vitro study to evaluate the antimicrobial activity of Rashogna Dhubanam. She has created a place environment, and she has done a Rashogna Dhubana in that place, and then a swab has been taken and to see whether there is any infection or not. Similarly, this is being done in a surgical ward also, surgical theater also. So it is not yet published. It will be published within 2 years. And different types of bandage. You all know Kosha Swastika Muttoli, China Dama Nivelidam, Katva Vivanda Stagika. So different types of banda is used to prevent the wound getting infected, and also to give rest to the wound area or infected area. What are the factors that retard wounds? Snayu Kleda, Sida Cheda, Krimi Bhakshanat. That is the place where infected wounds also retards wound healing. That is what told in Ashtanga Hridaya. Then, how do you see an unclean wound? Pudi Gandhar Vivarnasya, Bahusravan Maharuja. Vranan Shuddhan Vijnaya, Shodhane Samupaja. We should do Shodhana for Ashuddha Vrana. And then in Ashtangada, he says, Jirna Shalyodanam Snigdam in fracture cases, Shali Mamsa Rasakshiram Satpiryusham Sasinaja, Brahmanam Chandavana. Similarly, here also we have to give Brahmana Annapana for Vrana. And what are the Apatya Ahara? It says, Levanam Kadagam Shadam Amlam Maidanam Atavam Vyayamam Nachana Seveda. Apatya Ahara includes exposure to excess wind, dust, smoke, walking, and other form of exercise. Waking at night, irregular postures are told to be Apatya Ahara. And now there is certain general points. Sunrise and sunset has got germicidal effect. Ayurveda not only mentioned to treat the diseased person, but also to treat infected environment by means of homa. And it's a collective Vedic technique used for purification of the atmosphere. The main idea here is to heal the atmosphere, and atmosphere will heal you. This homa is a process of purification of the atmosphere where the agency of cosmic element fire, as Ramana was telling, it creates pure medicinal atmosphere and prevent growth of pathogenic bacteria and can prevent infection. So one more research work done in Kerala, Aparajita Churna during this COVID time, it was found to be very effective in inhibiting all the isolated bacteria and fungi, and it is notably reduced total bacterial count and fungi load. Dr. Srivalsa, my classmate and also an RAV guru, he was the person behind this during for that study. Another study done by doing by my student, a single arm open label clinical trial of maggot debridement therapy in Dushtavrana. It is a out of box thinking where a labor has been told in Kabaja Arbuda. A labor is put over that, and Nishpava Pinyaga Kulata, that is a combination, and maggot will be attracted and maggot will be eat the kabaja arbuda. So similarly for Dushtavrana, she has developed this maggot and they are putting it over the Dushtavrana to eat the debridement, and the study is going on. Another research work is antimicrobial property and mode of action of mustard and cinnamon for against the foodborne bacteria. That is also the result indicate that mustard presents 10 more times more bactericidal effect than cinnamon essential oil. Another study is also there with Tribala Churna, Harida Churna, Dashamula Churna, all their combination has been done for antibacterial study in pathogens. The findings suggested that Ayurvedic herbal preparation extracts have great potential as antimicrobial activity against enteric bacterial pathogens, and they can be used in treatment of infectious disease. This is another study where a role of Ayurvedic management in preventing surgical site infection instead of surgical antibiotic prophylaxis. This is done in Subharti Medical College, Meerut. An 83-year-old male patient presenting an acute urinary retention and known case of benign prostate hypertrophy being managed continuously on Ayurvedic therapy for many years. It was a challenge to conduct an inevitable surgery without any antibiotic prophylaxis. Holmium laser enucleation of prostate was done with Ayurvedic medicine support only without the use of any antibiotic. It is probably for the first time in the history of modern surgery that benign prostate hypertrophy surgery, which belongs to clean contaminated class and requires at least 3 doses of prophylactic antibiotic as per recommendation of American Urology Association, was done without the use of any of the patient, any as the patient had history of severe intolerance to them. 240 grams of prostate tubes were excised and submitted for histopathological examination, which was reported as benign adenofibromatous hyperplasia of prostate. Ayurvedic medicine was started 3 days pre-operatively and continued for 2 weeks post-operatively in doses as prescribed by a team of competent Ayurvedic physicians of the country. The ingredients of the Ayurvedic preparations were Tinospora cordifolia, Azadirachta indica, Ocimum sanctum, Moringa oleifera, Emblica officinalis, curcuma, and Panchatiktagada. He was discharged from the hospital in satisfactory condition after 48 hours of surgery. His catheter was removed after 7 days and he voided well with normal stream. He had no dysuria or pain any time throughout the follow-up period, which was an unusual observation. His recovery was remarkable and he returned to his daily routine in a very short time without any complication. The total observation period has been more than 6 months. Considering this, in view of the rising antibiotic resistance, WHO declaration of arrival of post-antibiotic era or microbiome theory, blaming antibiotics for the suppression of human microbial flora and so the innate immunity, disturbing the metabolism, affecting digestion, inhibiting synthesis of vitamin B complex, and unprecedented rise of autoimmune disease in human being in recent time. The germ theory of causation of disease was declared invalid by none other than its founder, Louis Pasteur alone, some 20 years after it was propounded in 1860. But antibiotics continue to be the remains mainstay of treatment of infectious disease and as surgical prophylaxis in modern medicine. Microbiome theory is gaining momentum. Shit capsule and fecal transplants are being done to regain the lost microbial flora due to the use of antibiotics. Sarvadhadu kshayartasya balam tasya hi vidbalam. In concluding, though Ayurveda don't describe anything about antibiotic drugs, they are very quite aware of the after effect that may occur due to the microbes. Thus, various processes and drugs were used for antibiotic purpose. Without this surgical part of Ayurveda wouldn't have been flourished. Thus, it can be imagined that knowingly Ayurveda people were using precautions against microbial growth. It becomes a matter of utmost importance and urgent attention to look for the alternative to antibiotics. So, thank you. Thanks a lot. Namaste.